Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been sounding the horn about this, not only for a long time, but a lot. And let me tell you what the reason is. It's because this is coming. Whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, this is coming. And it is going to be multifaceted, meaning that not only one thing is going to affect the amount of food that is available to us going forward, but it will be many things and at different times. So I implore you, do your own research, but listen to this story from an insider that says that food shortages, ladies and gentlemen, they're just starting, and they're nothing compared to what's coming. There will be a deficit in worldwide calories. There's about 8 billion humans in the world, and each human needs a certain amount of calories, and there will be a deficit in calories that can be produced. Now, you can either prepare now for what's ahead, or you can just go with the flow and see what happens. In all honesty, I would rather be prepared and not need my preps than to not prepare at all and need them. You know, some people tell me, and I've seen it in the comments a lot, that God will provide. And if you're a religious person, and if you believe in God, then I believe you. I believe that God will provide. But right now, what He is providing is He is providing you with the information that will hopefully motivate you to get prepared. Because ladies and gentlemen, when people are hungry, they don't care if you're hungry or not. They are going to feed themselves first. It's a fight or flight. It is something that's ingrained in us, in our DNA, that says that we will preserve our lives no matter what. Let's go ahead and see what they have to say. Farming Insider warns the coming food shortages are going to be far worse than we are being told. The information that I'm about to share with you is extremely alarming, but I have always endeavored to never sugarcoat things for my readers. Right now, there are shortages of certain items in grocery stores across the United States, and food supplies have gotten very tight all over the globe. I have repeatedly warned that this is just the beginning, but I didn't realize how dire things have already gotten until I received an email from a farming insider that I have correspondence with over the years. I asked him if I could publicly share some of the information that he was sharing with me, and he said that he would be okay with it as long as you kept his name out of it. According to this farming insider, dramatically increased cost in fertilizers, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to make it impossible for farmers to make a profit. And it's like I've said in the past, farmers may love what they do. It may have been in their bloodstream or in their family for generations. But ladies and gentlemen, if they can't make a profit, they're not going to farm. The following is an excerpt from an email that he recently sent me. Things for 2022 are interesting and scary. Input costs for things like fertilizer, liquid nitrogen, and seeds are like triple and quadruple the old prices. It will not be profitable to plant this year. Let me repeat, the economics will not work. Our plan is to drop off about 700 acres of corn and convert it to soybean because they use less fertilizer. And we also have chicken manure from that operation. And guess what? We are not the only ones with those plans. Already there is a shortage of soybean seeds, so we will see how that will work out. The way I see it, there will be a major grain shortage later in the year, especially with corn. And he goes on to say, I mean, we are small with that, but what about the people in the Midwest who have like 10,000 acres of corn? This will not be good. And ladies and gentlemen, we just had that fertilizer plant fire in North Carolina. I believe it was in Winston-Salem. That is also going to aggravate the cost of fertilizer. It's just going to put more upward pressure on the price of fertilizer, making the situation even more dire for farmers, and then eventually for ourselves. I wonder why China has been stocking up. Once I received that message, I wrote him back with some questions that I had. In response, he explained on his comments in a subsequent email. As for the farming, I see it getting bad. Things like fertilizer and liquid nitrogen have tripled and quadrupled in price. Yes, commodity prices are up, but that certainly won't cover the new increase in input costs. We are in North Carolina, so while certainly not like the Midwest, we still grow grain. The Midwest, of course, will have these same higher input costs as well. Corn, for example, typically takes about 600 pounds of fertilizer per acre. Wow, that's a lot. Plus 50 gallons of liquid nitrogen. Times that by many acres, and that's a lot of money. Soybeans take much less. The plan for us and most other around here is to drastically cut corn acres and switch to soybeans. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it makes me wonder why it is that all of these Beyond Burger, Beyond Meat, Beyond Chicken, that they've been working on that. I wonder if someone knows what's going on and what will be going on, and that people will maybe not have a choice but to eat that synthetic stuff. That is why I say stock up now. Stock up now, at least a year. At least a year's worth of sustenance, ladies and gentlemen, of the stuff that you already eat. If you can afford to get over-the-counter stuff, third-party freeze-dried foods and all that stuff, do it as well. But stock up now, ladies and gentlemen. And he goes on to say, the plan for us and most others around here is to drastically cut corn acres and switch to soybeans. We were lucky enough to pre-buy enough to do it. However, most people, especially younger farmers or farmers where that is all they do, probably don't have the money to front like that. The way I see it, a corn shortage is coming. I guess there could possibly be a glut of soybeans, but remember, that could depend on the seed being available. I guess there are other alternatives, maybe milo, oats, or barley. Of course, the corn market is much larger. Think animal feed and ethanol. I mean, for animals, soybeans are used also, but it's a mix. What happens to the animal producers who depend on reasonably priced corn? I just don't see how it can end well. I mean, even if we end up with plenty of soybeans, even a glut, then you have a busted market for that. I don't know. There just isn't much history to base any of this on. I just feel this is hurting both grain farmers and animal farmers, and also translating to more shortages and price increases for consumers who buy the end product. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your warning. If for some reason you just happen to come across this channel for the first time and you're not actively preparing, do some research. Look into this, because you are going to need sustenance. I have a lot of food put away. I have easily a year and a half, I would say probably close to 2 years worth of food for my family. And I still don't think that that will be enough, ladies and gentlemen. He goes on to say, I was stunned when I first read that. Corn is one of the foundational pillars of our food supply, and it is. Corn is in almost everything. If you go to the grocery store and start reading through the ingredients on various products, you will quickly discover that corn is in just about everything in one form or another. So what is our country going to look like if severe corn shortage actually happens? I don't even want to think about that. People will go hungry, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, fertilizer prices are not just going through the roof here in the United States. In South America, high fertilizer prices are going to dramatically affect coffee production. Cristina Valle, who comes from a long line of coffee growers in Brazil, is this year paying 3 times what she paid last year for the fertilizer she needs. Coupled with a recent drought that hit her crop hard, it means Mrs. De Valle, 75, will produce a fraction of her De Valle brand of coffee, some of which is exported. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, I did a video on this a while back saying that the world coffee supply had a deficit this year of 3 million bags compared to an average year. 3 million bags because of droughts, because of freezes, etc. And she says that this year the fertilizer shortage is so bad that she puts her name on a list and the supplier will deliver it if and when they can. If you love to drink coffee in the morning, you will soon be paying much more for that privilege. Over in Africa, fertilizer prices could result in 30 million metric tons less food produced. Now, I know that I've talked about Africa before, and I know that I said something, let me try to remember, because I think this video is over a year old that I put out, where Africa used to sustain themselves with the food that they grew. And then they went to importing about 33% of the food that they consumed. Remember what happened back where all of the white farmers were chased off and stuff like that, and then the land was given to the people that were already there originally, the black Africans, and then they started producing a lot less food because there weren't enough qualified people to run the farms, and then they had to start importing foods. Okay, now they import about 30%, 33%, 1/3 of the food that they need. Now look at this. Now they're going to have an even bigger deficit. But where are they going to get that food from? That's the question. Fertilizer demand in sub-Saharan Africa could fall 30% in 2022, according to the International Fertilizer Development Center, a global nonprofit organization. That would translate to 30 million metric tons less food produced, which the center says is equivalent to the food needs of 100 million people. Wow. Low fertilizer use will inevitably weigh on food production and quality, affecting food availability, rural incomes, and the livelihoods of the poor. Where in the world are we going to get enough food to replace the food needs for 100 million people? This is beyond serious. Basically, the stage is being set for the sort of historic global crisis that I have been relentlessly warning about. And ladies and gentlemen, everyone is Chicken Little. Everyone cries wolf until the wolf is at your door. Many Americans had assumed that even if the rest of the world was suffering, that we would be immune. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called recency bias. But now there are widespread shortages all over the nation, and the Wall Street Journal just published a major article entitled, U.S. Food Supply is Under Pressure, From Plants to Store Shelves. And this is really happening, ladies and gentlemen. Just take a look around. In Washington, D.C., residents are being instructed to just buy what you need. If you are hitting the grocery store to prepare for winter, please just buy what you need and leave some for others. And that was the mayor of Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen. What would have been unimaginable just a few years ago is now making headlines on a daily basis. Of course, it isn't just our food supply that is under threat. As Victor Davis Hanson has aptly noted, our country is now in the process of undergoing a systems collapse. And he says that in modern times, as in ancient Rome, several nations have suffered a systems collapse. And the term systems collapse, ladies and gentlemen, just defines the sudden inability for a nation to continue to prosper like they've been prospering in the past. The good life is over. Abruptly, the population cannot buy or even find once plentiful necessities. They feel their streets are unsafe, laws go unenforced, or are enforced inequitably. Every day things stop working. The government turns from reliable to capricious, if not hostile. And ladies and gentlemen, isn't that what's happening? A lot of people are going to be caught off guard by the pace of change. Things are shifting so rapidly that it really is hard to keep up with all unless you are paying very close attention. Now that you have been exposed to the information in this article, please don't go back to sleep. This is not a drill. We really are heading into a nightmare scenario, and I strongly urge you to act accordingly. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just reading this article and doing a little commentary on it and letting you know how I feel about this. And I have to agree with everything that I read here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time for you to get prepped. I mean, I could not be more serious about this. I feel like I have to find more room to get more stuff to put up because of what's coming. And the thing is that those people that wait, they will suffer. So don't be one of those people. All right. I really hope that you got something out of this. Mostly, I hope that if there are any new viewers here, first of all, thank you for joining in. And please take heed to the warning, ladies and gentlemen. This is not playing around anymore. Things are going to get serious. Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier today I put up a video featuring the Alaska Prepper Everyday Breakfast Bundle from Nutrient Survival. And unless they activated the link early, what you see here will be available starting on 4 February. So if you're interested, go ahead and check out the video I put up because it's a great deal. Until February 6th at midnight, you will also be able to use the AP15 code for 15% off your entire order at checkout, whether or not you decide to get the breakfast bundle. Real quick, let me show you what it comes with. Your bundle will come with a pantry pack of the Homestyle Scramble, which is Nutrient Survival's #1 selling product, the Maple Almond Grain Crunch, the Chocolate Grain Crunch, a pack of the Citrus Orange Flavored Immune Boost, a #10 can of the Vitamin Eggs, which taste like eggs, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. A box of the Vitamin Coffee, which is by far the very best spray-dried coffee that there is. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first 250 orders, Nutrient Survival is throwing in some swag. The AP community will be the first to have a chance to own some Nutrient Survival swag, and I really like the t-shirt that I have. So if you are in the market for some of the best and nutrient-dense storable food that there is, use the link under the description of this video and make sure to use the code AP15 for 15% off your entire order. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that starting this Monday, the 7th of February, the AP15 code will no longer be valid and the AP code will resume. So feed your freedom with Nutrient Survival.